My name is Ryan Sparks, and I'm the owner-operator here at Swing Sync Labs, which is a baseball, softball hitting academy.
We've been open since April of 2024. Yeah, so I'm a baseball coach at the high school and junior high, and we were in here working out with Vertigo, which is where our athletes were every Saturday morning coming in at 8 o'clock to get faster, improve their speed, hand-eye coordination, and agility. And so from there, we discovered that there was some space available, and I talked to a lot of parents that were asking for a place to hit during the winter. And so in partnership with Jerry Douglas, we came up with a model where he was able to give me some gym space, and I set up 6 different hitting stations and married my love of baseball with technology, because my background, I was in technology sales for 16 years. I'm originally from Quincy. I was away for 2 decades, living in St. Louis and Chicago, but decided to move back home to raise my kids, 4-year-old twins, Rosa and James. So I think it's a great way for me to be able to pursue my passions, but also give back to the youth and instill a love with the game. The training sessions are scheduled around an hour, and during that hour, we want the athlete to be focusing on getting quality swings in. And so we're tracking towards a goal of 100 swings per session, which then builds towards 1,000 swings, which is what's needed to create a habit. And then from there, 4,000 swings to embed muscle memory. So when they get into the game, they're confident and feeling prepared because they've done it over and over and over again, which this sport is a game of failure. So it's being resilient, but repetition and falling in love with the process. Wanting the result, yes, we want to be good, but understanding that it's not going to be overnight. It's not turning on a light switch, it's actually putting in the work. We leverage blast motion, which gives us a sensor that's paired with our bat on the knob, and so that's giving us swing data analytics. It's tracking swing speed, rotation, connection, acceleration. That's also giving us visuals, so it gamifies the experience, especially for our younger athletes. We have anyone from 5 all the way through high school that are working out here. So they like to be able to see where they're at. And then we can capture a video of the swing and break down the swing and be able to point to some areas where they're doing really well and some other spots that we need to work on. My swing leader was a 9-year-old girl who got in close to 2,100 swings in 1 month. Wow. So for her, it was exponentially faster, but she really fell in love with coming in here 3 times a week with her dad, and they were bonding over the game and they enjoyed working out together. A lot of folks will ask me, like, how many reps? Well, really it comes down to, like, how much do they want to work on it? Because you don't want to force this on the child. But if they really enjoy it, then let them have at it and come in as many times as they would like, because they have access from 6 a.m. to 10 p.m. every day of the week, Monday through Sunday. The most satisfying moment for me is when I hear a story that a kid is really excelling in a game, where they hit a home run, or they may have been lacking in confidence previously, but since working out at Swing Sync, they now have made leaps and bounds improvements. Knowing that, hey, I may get out 6 out of 10 times, how do I bounce back from that and have what we talk about a goldfish memory, where 10 seconds it's over with and let's move on to the next. Well, I'm a believer of faith, right? I'm a Christ follower, and I used to struggle with why is not God speaking to me directly? But I believe He speaks to us through our conscience and our intuition and our gut. And Jerry's also a man of faith, and I don't believe it's coincidence that he put me in the positions that I was in, the conversations that I had around coaching, but also being here at this facility. My background in technology, I believe all roads led to where I'm at today.
Okay, my name is Will Errol. I'm 10 years old and I play for the Quincy Warriors. I play second base and a little bit of pitching. He gives me tips on how to get better. I really like when we do, like when he helps me get my bat speed up, like doing those kind of drills, like getting your bat speed up. Come here and work with Sparks because he's a good coach. They're nice. They're good at the sport. They just give you tips how to get better.
The biggest challenge I would say for me is coming from a job where it traditionally was, 9 to 5, and of course with this being more consumer focused versus business to business, adapting and being reachable I wouldn't say that I'm reachable 24/7, but you have to be comfortable with putting in hours on the weekend, or being able to respond to text messages or phone calls that you might get where it's troubleshooting with the facility or the technology, let's say 7, 8 o'clock at night. And so that's been a bit of a challenge because I used to have that hard boundary, but now I have to be more flexible with my schedule. What it takes to be an entrepreneur is rolling up your sleeves. I used to work for large corporations where there was hundreds, if not thousands, of support staff behind me, and now it's me, myself, and Irene, right? Like it's a lot falls on your shoulders, but it's also very gratifying. Yeah, on the baseball side, I would have to lean towards Coach Wathen at John Wood Community College. It's hard to think that it was 2003 when I played for him, but he gave me a chance and really instilled a love in the game, but also a mindset, right? There's the physical component, but we talked about the cognitive aspect as well. And what is my approach at the plate, on the mound, etc. And he was one that always gave guys second chances. He was hard to play for, but he knew if you're putting forth your best effort, that good results would follow. I would say my proudest moment was working with AJ Goings. He's a 10-year-old, and his dad sharing with me via text message, "Hey, AJ hit a home run last weekend. He was named the all-star of his team." He's so happy, and he always wants to come in and is constantly asking me, "When can we go to Swing Sync next?" That makes me proud. I think you have to be flexible, so not rigid, right? Being able to adapt and overcome challenges, because I'm a believer of the obstacle is the way, right? You're going to encounter difficulties in whatever you might do, but how do you come to the table with solutions, right? We're always going to face problems no matter what industry that you're in. But also on the sales side, follow up and follow through. I wasn't the best presenter, but I certainly followed up and followed through with what we talked about and then promises that were made. And I'm a big believer in ensuring that it's a good customer or client experience. I need to get better at not focusing on the dollars, right? Because it doesn't pay like I used to get paid, but there's rewards in other fashions, right? It's about impact, not necessarily my paycheck. And I wish I would have knew that going into it, just kind of how drastic that might be, but also understand that getting into this with being a new business, it takes time to grow something that's going to be in it for the long haul. I don't want this to be a flash in the pan. I want it to be around for 5 to 10 years, 15 years. And you may or may not know, once you get into that 5-year realm, like you're starting to get into the 99th percentile of small business owners. Most of them do pack up and close shop before then. Yeah, I think just doing what you say you're going to do, right? And then also being in constant contact to ensure that you're getting feedback and looking for areas that you can improve. And being able to adapt based on what they're telling you, and not be so defensive and say, well, they're not right? Like be in a position or take a posture of how can I get better? So constantly be improving. Be better, not bitter. And we've had this conversation about where are my passions? And if you can align your passion, like what gets you going, what fills up your cup, with where you're providing value for others, then that's where you create impact. And you're going to get rewarded with the number of people that you can touch. So if you look at Bill Gates or Steve Jobs, like it was in the millions, so they were compensated accordingly, but they took their passion and they provided value. And I think that's the key to success in entrepreneurship or starting a business. Well, so it took me 16 years of being in sales before I pivoted and was willing to get out of my comfort zone. So being comfortable in uncomfortable situations and trying something new and understanding that it may take a couple different tries, and just to get back on the bike, keep moving forward, fail forward is what's said often. But the first venture may not be the best one for you, so try something new.